Great to be here with you on this Monday. So much to get to here on the show. The Braves are out west in Arizona trying to tread water as best they can. Hopefully learn how to play a little defense. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. We've got a lot to get to with college baseball on the forefront with the regionals. And you say, well, why is that a big deal here? Georgia Southern hosting a regional. First time ever. They only give out 16 of those. Georgia Southern is one of those 16. They are the 16 seed. They will welcome in Notre Dame, Texas Tech, and UNC Greensboro coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday there in Statesboro. Jared Binko, Georgia Southern AD, will join us. We'll get his thoughts on that. That is obviously huge. Ben, you talked about brands and things of that nature. When you can bring in other programs from around the country for a national, even a regional tournament to your place, that is huge. And we'll talk to Jared Binko about how that all became possible and what that means for that program. Rodney Hinnon, Georgia Southern head baseball coach, will join us coming up at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk to him about his team. Obviously, they navigated through what was a pretty tough Sun Belt. They did not win the Sun Belt championship, but Ben started off the season playing Tennessee, who just won the SEC. I know people point back and say, oh, you got swept by Tennessee. I mean, that was series number one right out of the gate, and Tennessee obviously has proven to be very good. And Georgia Southern had some good out-of-conference ball games with Georgia, Georgia Tech, who are also in it, by the way. So they had a very good RPI, and obviously it pays off in a big way for Georgia Southern. We'll talk to Rodney Hinnon and Jared Binko throughout the show. Also, Ben, SEC meetings started this week, and you already have coaches weighing in. All the coaches trying to get baited. What do you think about Nick and Jimbo? And all the coaches obviously took talking to the media 101 or saying, I mean, I don't want to get involved in all that, and all that. So we'll get to the latest coming out of that. Jaguars going OTAs, and for all the talk about, what we made fun of Desmond Ridder, apparently now Trevor Lawrence, and this offense is the second coming of the fastest show on turf, the greatest show on turf. Just ask all the people who are watching OTA. So we'll get to that coming up on the show as well. But Ben, Braves take 2 out of 3 from Miami. They lose the opener to the Diamondbacks over the week or yesterday on Memorial Day. They are now 9.5 games out from the Marlins. Still taking 2 out of 3. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Just haven't been able to gain any ground and losing some games where you're going, look, Alcantara pitched great. You weren't going to win. I mean, I'm just being honest. He pitched like a 1 or 2 hitter. You weren't winning that game. Last night, you got to score runs. Defense was horrible. So they've got some things to work on, Ben, but to me, the emergence and maybe I don't know if it's a sign of desperation, but you look at the outfield and go, Adam Duvall not hitting, Marcell Ozuna. He doesn't need to be out there. He needs to be hitting and sitting on the bench. Yeah. That's it. And this is what I talk about when people say, why do you have your hate on for Big Papi? Case in point is also this. Look at Marcell Ozuna. If Marcell Ozuna couldn't hit, he wouldn't be playing baseball right now because his defense is atrocious. And so sit on the bench. That's what they need him to do. And you bring up one of your top prospects or your top prospect in Michael Harris, Ben, who a lot of people said, more people probably don't follow, hey, who is the top Braves prospect? But this guy is probably the most heralded prospect since Ronald Acuna. Now, is his ceiling, is his top side Ronald Acuna? No, but he is very good. A lot of people were surprised he got called up now. But here he is, made some great defensive plays, hit a little bit. Like to see that continue, but a wild couple of days since we talked last on the show regarding those Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, you go back to the Marlins series, winning 2 out of 3, and then, this Braves team going to have ebbs and flows. I know, Kevin, we give the recipe like it's easy to do. Oh, yeah, they don't play no team on, over 500 till, mid-June. But this is still the big leagues. Anybody can be beat on any given day. Now, I will say this about Marcell Ozuna. For what he is on offense, he is atrocious on defense. Now, the thing about the DH is this. I know people look at the whole Big Papi thing. There's a reason why Big Papi did not play. You don't want to see it. It's like, it's a liability. Marcell Ozuna right now is a liability. Now, people go, but he's in the bigs. Yeah, but just because you're in the bigs, you excel at something. Like, your hand-eye coordination is still one of the best. I mean, seeing pitches, that's still one of the best. But they're not calling up, Michael Harris because they don't have needs in the outfield. It's because they have a big need. Now, Michael Harris, another Atlanta native. I mean, Kevin, that catch that he had, in center field is incredible. But I think the thing about this Braves team is it is a bunch of head scratchers. If the starting pitching is elite, sometimes the lineup is not. And sometimes the lineup is good. And, the pitching is, kind of subpar. Got to be able to put all three phases together. A lot of guys been in and out of slumps throughout the course of this year. The bats don't seem to be on fire at the same, when it comes to these games, as far as like putting things together, I'm still not worried. I think sometimes, Kevin, this is what it is. When the Braves are just winning the division, no one cares in baseball because they're not winning World Series. But when you win the World Series, everything you do is magnified. You're the World Series, defending World Series champs. So a lot of it is that. Most teams in the baseball, they're just 1 of 30. I mean, call it what it is. The Braves are one of the elite teams in baseball because they've done it in one of the hardest divisions in baseball. When you look at what DeGrom, and Scherzer bring to the table, you look at what the Fields can bring to the table, you look at what obviously the Nats can bring to the table, you talk about the Marlins. I just think that when you look at this division as a whole, Kevin, the Mets right now, the owner of the Mets is looking real good right now, with the Braves being 9.5 games back. But like you say, Kevin, you want to try to get a game a week. You want to stay the course. I do like how the Braves bring up prospects. I know a lot of times people, dude, there isn't a right time to bring in a prospect. There isn't a right time, but you got to get guys like Michael Harris. You got to get them playing time. You got to get them out there. I mean, remember Christian Pache? Me neither. I'm telling y'all, the bigs is very, very unforgiving.
I did see about stat since you brought him up that Christian Pache had the lowest batting average in the major leagues this year. Great kid. I feel bad for him.
Mind you, this is not to come at Christian Pache. I know people be saying,
but it's very
when Austin Riley got called up, it's a lot of pressure on him. When they tell you you're going to be our everyday third baseman, what? On a team that matters, on a team that's contending. It's let me not use the word easy, but it's hard to get called up. Everybody like AAA wants to get called up in the minors.
He skipped that. He came from AA straight up.
And I think what's happening now, Kevin, is it seems like everybody's pressing a little bit. It seems like everybody's trying to. We get it. You don't necessarily have to live. The hardest thing to do in pro sports is a repeat. Ask any team: basketball, baseball, hockey, football. It's hard to do it because not everybody knows you. Not everybody wants a piece of you, but. Right, wrong, and different, man. They got to get it done. I think Michael Harris is going to be incredible. He's not doing listen, stay away from the 2-4, people. Leave it alone. Mr. Jones, sorry you're not in the Hall of Fame yet. I think it is ridiculous. Yeah. But become your own name first. Say, hey, man, hey, Mr. Andrew Jones, would it be okay if I'm with that number.
No.
We don't leave Andrew Jones, listen. I think it's half because he played for the Braves. He'd be hating on Braves greats because it's a grip of them. But no, shout out to the Braves. So shout out to Michael Harris. I think he's going to be really, really good, Kevin. And obviously the plate appearances is going to get better. Once again, what Marcel doesn't do in center field, Michael Harris is.
Yeah.
Is phenomenal. But I do like the fact that people talk about pressure. If I am from Atlanta and I play baseball and I dream of playing for them Bravos and I get called up, I don't think it gets more pressure filled to him and guys like Matt Olson. That's a different type of pressure when, hey man, my family, my whole family's in the stands, and I was eating lunch with him the day before the game. So, but Michael Harris, love the fact he got called up. Hopefully he'll be a good addition. He's just gonna have to work on those plays.
And you look at the kind of the makeup with the Braves lineup right now. You've got Matt Olson, Metro Atlanta native, Michael Harris, Metro Atlanta guy, Dansby, Metro Atlanta guy. You've got some guys on this team who are, and you hate to say it, because again, but I guess it is different when you're pro. It's like they were Braves fans as kids, and now you're playing on this team, and you're playing together, and you're having a chance to. I'm sure you go around, you try not to get shell shocked, but I saw Michael Harris. He was like, "Hey, man, like I wasn't thinking I was going to get called up, but then it's kind of surreal. It's like you walk in the clubhouse, and there's my jersey,
there it is,
hanging with everybody else.
There it is.
So it's like." And I imagine that's extra surreal when you're like, and it says Atlanta on it. It's like, I would imagine it's extra surreal, but yeah, I'm excited to watch him play. Yeah. I think it was kind of good. He got called up, and now they're out of town for a week or so. Yeah. So it's like, you're there. Hey, settle in. Let's go play some baseball out here in Arizona and Colorado and the like, and kind of settle into big league life. But again, you should be really excited about it. I think defensively, this team has been bad at times. Obviously, Marcell Ozuna out there in left field, you can't. He just doesn't need to be out there. If Michael Harris, God,
Duval.
if Adam Duvall was hitting, Marcell Ozuna would not even be out there. Matt Olson's been kind of disappointing with the glove, Gold Glove caliber. He's made some kind of strange mistakes, and maybe just work out of it.
Yeah.
I will say this for all the folks who are looking at the Braves, they're 9.5 out behind the Mets. This is why I said this stretch is very important. You're still playing the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Pirates, the Cubs are in this stretch that we've talked about. The Mets are now entering a stretch where they are playing the Dodgers, the Padres, the Anaheim Angels, the Brewers, and the Houston Astros. Those are all really, really good teams. So this is a stretch where I was talking to Christian. He's like, are you starting to get concerned? I was like, no. I was like, at the end of this, I think the Astros series is June 21st, 22nd for the Mets. So if at the end of that window where the Braves come out of playing this relatively easy turn in the schedule and the Mets are done with this kind of tough stretch, if you're still 9.5 out, that was prime makeup time to make up some games. Then I think you start looking at it and say, where do we stand in the wild card race? But keep winning 2 out of 3, and I still believe over the course of this, you're going to make up some games here in the short term. We got to step aside. We got Jared Binko, Ben, waiting in the wings. I'm going to join us, Georgia Southern, getting ready to host a regional in baseball for the first time. And, man, what Jared Binko has had to do since becoming the AD. Took over, COVID shuts everything down. Hires a basketball coach in the middle of COVID. Hires Clay Helton. Now you're getting a program to host a regional. You're building facilities. He has done a lot in a short amount of time there at the helm. He will join us when we come back. It is 3 and Out all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network, streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com. Also love to hear from you on Twitter at Pigskin Radio. Good to have you along 3 and Out on this Tuesday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. The NCAA baseball tournament is upon us. They handed out the regional assignments over the weekend, and one of those lands in Statesboro. Georgia Southern going to be welcoming in Notre Dame, Texas Tech, UNC Greensboro coming up this weekend. And joining us here to tell us how that happened, the athletic director at Georgia Southern, Jared Binko, joins us here on 3 and Out. Jared, welcome. How are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're doing fantastic. Obviously the work on the field happens with the student athletes, but I know you guys put out that you were trying to land one of these things. What all goes into securing the rights to host a regional, and obviously you guys able to get that done for the first time in school history?
Yeah, no, listen, we're fired up. I mean, listen, you're not in a position to host unless your team goes out there and puts you in position, competitively to host. And so, just really proud of, first and foremost, our coaches and staff and student athletes that did an incredible job. Anytime you get to 40 wins in a season, I think that speaks volumes. So that's the first thing. You obviously have to be in position competitively to host. And then secondly, you put in a bid, and the way the NCAA bid process works, you guarantee revenue and you have to set your expenses. And, a lot of thought and planning went into it, and now it's just a matter of execution. So it's interesting with a turn. You find out we're hosting Sunday, find out the matchups Monday, and then teams arrive tomorrow, which is kind of crazy on a short turn, and then practice Thursday, play Friday. So it's a bang deal, but really excited. It's a great opportunity for Statesboro and Southeast Georgia.
And Jared, even sticking with that, you think about a city like Statesboro. When you think about baseball in the state of Georgia, obviously you got Athens, obviously you got Atlanta, you got but then when you think about Statesboro, the Sun Belt, everything as you said that goes into it. What is that call like, Jared? Because like you said, everybody I think is putting in bids. Not everybody's getting the call. What is it like making preparations for it, getting the bid for it, and what does it mean for the city of Statesboro?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's interesting. They announced the host. I was actually out in Arizona with men's golf for NCAA championships, and they were going to announce at 8:30 Sunday night Eastern, that is. And you can get a phone call, text, or email, and it's about 5 minutes till 8:30. I'm like, well, I guess we didn't get one. I would assume we'd gotten tipped off. Then I saw the social media thread, and it was boom, 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 and saw Statesboro, tweet that went out from NCAA. I did a double take, like, man, this is. It kind of was in shock, one of those moments. But then you quickly pivot and you start, thinking already in your head about execution of your plan you submitted. But then listen, here's what I always tell people. We always talk about athletics being the front porch of the university. And this is another opportunity for us as an institution to really put our best foot forward. We're proud of Statesboro. We love our campus, love obviously the degree that you can have here in the experience as a student and as a student athlete here. And now this gives us one more opportunity to show the rest of the country just what a special place it is. And so it's huge. Ben, it's a place obviously not everybody's been to. And we take great pride in giving people a great experience, and hopefully not too much of a great experience on the field because we want to win this regional and move on. But, listen, Southern hospitality will be on display this week. So.
And Jared, how good, as you said, your student athletes went out there, won 40 games. How good is this baseball team, and how confident do you think you guys are going to be getting to play there at J.I. Clements to try to move on?
Well, I mean, listen, it's going to be a home field advantage. I think what makes this team special, and Coach Hinnon, I know he's going to be on later today. It's interesting this season, and I've been around some really good teams in the past, some years past, and I was talking to Austin Thompson and Christian Avan as well about, early on you could see the senior leadership continue to really just take teams through, come from behind wins. And you saw this never quit type mentality. And we have 20 plus come from behind wins. And it's a senior driven team. And Ben knows, we talked before about senior leadership. I mean, the senior leadership on this team is as good as I've seen. And so it's a byproduct of just some tremendous, not only baseball players, just tremendous young men. And so I feel really good. I mean, that's why you have to go out and play the game. But our guys are fired up, and I think, after Sunday's performance and just come up just short of the Sun Belt Championship, shortly thereafter to find out we're hosting, it was definitely an adrenaline shot. And again, they're just as fired up as we are to host. So.
And Jared, even talk about the Sun Belt a little bit more. I mean, when I'm looking at this list, I mean, I'm seeing Auburn, I'm seeing Eastern Carolina, I'm seeing Florida, I'm seeing Louisville, Maryland, Miami, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Southern Miss, Stanford, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Southern. Hosting a regional, it's one of those things to where obviously you want to move on to the tournament, but it's prestigious. I hear baseball coaches in our college always talk about, man, the best path to win any tournament or anything it's being at home. Just talk about what the Sun Belt is doing, not just on the national scale, but you see in baseball, you guys are seem to be making sure that people know, look, man, the Sun Belt playing us is one thing, but we making sure that we are putting on not for just our conference, but for college baseball as a whole.
Yeah, and if you look at, we had our spring meetings in Destin. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, and we had the 4 new teams down there. If you look at it, I mean, Southern Miss is hosting too. They're going to be a member of the Sun Belt, effective July 1, and so yeah. But here's the thing, Ben and I had this conversation with Commissioner Gill. We were down there saying, the power. There's no doubt in my mind the power of not only the brand but just the conference is significantly increasing. So you start looking at every sport and what's coming in. I mean, we're getting better in every sport. And so a lot of people look at football, look at basketball, baseball, and softball. And so I think what you'll see across the board is the Sun Belt further establishing itself as a preeminent group of 5 school in the country. And I think what you'll also see is the results and the proofs in the pudding, because when you look across this postseason, and then, of course, our goal is to get a New Year's Day 6 in this conference as well. I mean, the next couple of years, in my opinion, will be a further strengthening and really a separation moment for us as a conference, because we got better. And there's a lot of chaos going around this past year with people leaving Conference USA and others and American and stuff. We were getting stronger. And I think that's just a sign of a great leadership with Commissioner Gill and down to the president.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director, joining us here on 3 and Out. And how busy is it right now to be Jared Binko? As you said, you were out there with golf. You got baseball hosting a regional. Obviously Clay Helton's got folks fired up about the fall. I know you got some building projects going on there on campus for some new facilities. I mean, obviously you've got your fingers in a lot of places over here the last few months.
Yeah, well, listen, it's a good problem to have. Anytime your teams this time of year are competing, it's a good problem to have. But no, I think what you also will see too is just the upward trajectory of the university, and really mimics that of the athletic department and vice versa, because we've got $80 million in capital projects going on right now, and you look at the success. This is the best spring we've ever had on record. You mentioned Coach Helton and what he's doing in football, and you even saw a little bit in the spring. I even thought maybe Ben might like to be a tight end in this system because he'd catch a lot of balls. But no, I mean, I think what you're seeing is the momentum carry over, and really it's going to carry over into the fall. And so we've made no bones about trying to be like a Power 5 program and how we run, and being very elite in every sport that we field. And so that's kind of been the process. And obviously, each year you try to get better, but it's been so rewarding. I'll tell you that the best thing about it time of year is seeing the student athletes who put in, day out, the hard work in and out of the classroom and on the fields and the courts respectively, to see them celebrate and to see all their hard work. I mean, that's why you do it. That's your why. Like, why are we in college athletics? Is to see these young people and hopefully play a small role in them having those moments to always remember the rest of your life. And we're in the moment creating business, and it's just this time of year. It's really special. It's hard to explain, but it's really special to see goals and dreams and aspirations be accomplished. So.
And Jerry, you talk a lot about the future and everything going on as far as different buildings and different things going up. You talk about the plans you guys have, but the players are actually a part of that plan. And it's one thing that have them a part of that plan, the student athletes, but they're actually building that momentum in the right direction. Kevin mentioned Coach Helton. You talk about what you guys hosting the region. You talk about how well you guys are doing across all sports, both male and female. Just talk about how the players, while they understand that, look, they control what they control when they out there on the baseball down the basketball court, but they seem to be understanding that, look, we are doing it for something bigger than us, and to get. It's always about looking back at your time at whatever school you was at and say, look, this is what we did when we was here, and kind of setting the stage for future Georgia Southern Eagles.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, it comes back to a couple things. Like, one, we've been upfront with about the standards have increased here. We're not lowering standards. And listen, you're only as good as the people around you. I've been blessed with a great staff, and our coaches are awesome. But I think our student athletes will also share with you too that they want to succeed at a high level. And then as a former student athlete, if you want to be, whether it be a championship winning team or all conference, all American, whatever, well, then you're agreeing to be coached at an elite level. I'll tell you the piece to me that often gets overlooked is we tied the school record with a 3.08 year-long cumulative GPA. And you look at it a lot of places, that's significantly above the average student athlete population. And so to me, it's the little things that matter. And so, how you treat showing up in class and how you treat studying for an exam and obviously aiming high academically, it's going to translate into the field because you can't do one and not the other. I just think it's about a habit-based system. And we talk all the time about being a developmental program. And so everything matters. And I think to your point, Ben, our student athletes are seeing that, hey, whether it be the new nutrition program we have online, whether it be mental health, whatever, every student athlete, and we had a release last week about the Alston money, they have a chance to invest in that through a couple different levers we have in place. So what you're seeing is that every class that comes in is getting a better student athlete experience. And that's our goal every year. We're bettering it. And so our student athletes see it. They're the ones that are doing all the work. Our goal is to support them at a high level and offer them encouragement. And also just talk about the importance of discipline and accountability, because that's going to translate in life. It's a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern AD, joining us here on 3 and Out. And Jared, before we let you go, a couple of things. What does the schedule look like for folks that are wanting to come check out the regional? Is it one ticket for one day? How does that kind of process work for folks that are interested?
Yeah, so right now we actually getting ready to come out. We've sold out of all our regular season tickets, or I should say regular chairback and bleacher tickets, and so we'll have more information coming out shortly on some standing room only tickets. But we're about at capacity right now. But online, you can go to gseagles.com and you can order tickets just for the remaining SRO standing room only tickets. But it's going to be a packed house, and I would encourage, we're going to be tailgating here. We're going to have a lot of new, hopefully food vendor trucks and food trucks here. So it's a great opportunity. So even if you don't have a ticket now, I would encourage you. Obviously, the day of the game, there's usually tickets going around. People are trying to, sell them and whatnot. I would encourage people to get up here because it's going to be a really cool event this weekend. And it's going to be something I think everybody in town can be really proud of.
Absolutely. And hey, before we let you go, you mentioned the food and the tailgate. Now we know you can, get out there on the Blackstone. We know you can grill the meats. What we've seen the football spread. What is the baseball spread? And are you going to have a little AD set up there cooking some food for the baseball folks?
Well, as much as I'd like to, I think it would come at a detriment of some other things. But no, I think, there's some similarities there. I think if you look at, tailgate, I think you can never go wrong with pulled pork, Boston butt. I think that's an easy, go-to for a lot of folks. And, I think you'll see a lot of bratwurst and hot dogs and sausage dogs and all types of stuff like that. So I would just tell you, if you like to eat like I do, you're not really picky. And so I think I haven't really passed up on a whole lot of stuff. The only thing I will pass up on is goat. I had that during the App State game, and that's about the only time I would try that. But outside of that, I'll eat about anything else. So.
Well, I was going to let you go, but somebody was trying to grill up goat before the football game?
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was chicken.
just more of a gamey type taste. I mean, as a person that grew up when my grandfather used to make goat like once a year, yes, that is like liver. If you had it once, you've had it enough. It definitely works on them bowel movements a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to digress there, but it's probably something I probably won't have again. But yeah, you just gotta, sometimes what you learn is you gotta, sometimes if you don't know what it is, you need to ask. That's probably the lesson learned.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director, joining us here on 3 and Out. Jared, really appreciate the time. I know, congratulations, all the best on getting that regional. It's going to be a great weekend there in Statesboro, and we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, guys. Tell Southern.
Jared Binko joining us here on 3 and Out, and as we said, a lot going on in Statesboro. As you said, sold out of all the seats, standing room only tickets. Going to be a packed weekend there in Statesboro. Notre Dame, Texas Tech,
wow.
UNC Greensboro coming to town. And it's double elimination if you're unfamiliar with it. So Georgia Southern gets UNC Greensboro in the first game. So if you can win that, Texas Tech or Notre Dame is going to have one loss already in the losers bracket. So, hey, good stuff potentially out there for Georgia Southern, and they're at home. And we will talk with Rodney Hinnon coming up later on the show. This is 3 and Out, all across the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Well, it's great to be here on this Monday. Good to have Jared Binko joining us. I know everybody in Statesboro, Ben, is obviously excited about that. And hey, sold out.
I might have to go up
standing room only tickets.
I might have to go up there and just put on the Georgia Southern like polo and say, yeah, I'm the assistant AD. I'm just out here saving lives. I'm just a taste test. No, I'm not going to the game. I'm just out here taste testing or whatever.
Just sampling the tailgate.
Of course, no. But I will say this, Kevin, when you think, super regionals, it's like, not super regionals. I'm sorry, super regional second round. Hosting a regional in baseball is prestigious because, you got to think. Baseball is baseball. You could throw out FBS, FC. You could throw it out. It's baseball. It's a lot of teams. You narrowed it down to 64. And you're one of the 16 teams that get to host. And listen,
there's like 300 and something.
And all I'm saying is when you think about baseball, right, in the state of Georgia alone, you got ACC, you got SEC, right? You got
Sun Belt teams, yeah.
You got Sun Belt. You talk about Mercer. You talk about Georgia Southern. It's just so many. And Jared Binko, as we were talking last segment, it hasn't been a walk in the park since he got the job. It's been a lot of stuff going on, and for him to just stay the course. You hear $80 million in renovations going on in Statesboro. That just, and on top of the fact that, hey man, when Coach Helton, where's Coach Helton going to go? The domino effect. Oh, he's coming to Georgia Southern. What? Then you look at women's basketball. Then you look at men's basketball. Then you see what's going on in baseball. Obviously, football is what get big stadiums. I get it, but the Sun Belt as a whole is really, really putting on with. Cause think about it. People say, man, who's representing the Sun? Oh, it ain't Coastal Carolina, not for the regionals. It ain't App. It ain't it ain't the Raging Cajuns. I just think that what's going on right now in Georgia Southern is pretty freaking special.
Absolutely. As you said, Jared Binko, people, I don't know, he hasn't forgotten. And he kind of just shrugs it off when you bring it up. But I believe he was hired in March of 2020. And then they shut everything down. Like he was hired like in the midst of
ghost town.
in the midst of the COVID shutdown and had to go through, coaching hires, dealing with students. In the 2 years that he has been there, he was on the job 2 weeks. Everything gets shut down for COVID. Then you come back. How are we going to play with COVID? I think Georgia Southern was one of like 2 or 3 teams that played 12 games in the COVID year. So it's like they managed to make that happen. Then you go to hire a men's basketball coach. Then you look at the situations of NIL coming to fruition. And how do you deal with that with your student athletes and hiring a football coach? Making the decision to fire a football coach midseason, hiring a football coach kind of earlier than people thought it was going to happen. And now you've seen progression. He's, again, done a tremendous job, and it's been, I think, anything but a normal operating, and for everybody. But really, since he took the job, it has been anything but, standard operating procedure there in Statesboro.
And the thing about Jared Binko, for anybody that's ever met him, about as down to earth, as it get. Very, very, very accessible. When you talk about all the responsibilities that he has, and obviously, when you think about Kevin, the reputation of all these conferences, and I'm sorry, I can say this, that the Sun Belt is the best G5 conference. That's taking nothing away from the other conferences. When you look at what they do, and that's taking nothing away from the Cincinnatis of the world. I get it, but I'm just saying, when you look at what the Sun Belt is, not to mention they added members. They added members and put them on the schedule when they was contractually obligated to be in the conference they was coming from. Like, don't care, putting out a schedule right now. And obviously, cooler heads have prevailed. Obviously, going to be. But I just think that when you look at the reputation of the Sun Belt, and Notre Dame is coming to Statesboro, right? Texas Tech is coming to Statesboro. I'm not the smartest person in the world, and my children will definitely attest. But I can guarantee you, ain't too many people from Notre Dame ever been to no Statesboro, right? So no. People in West Georgia, certain people in certain parts of the state. But listen, congratulations to the Georgia Southern, because I think what it is, Kevin, is, hey man, how can we stand out in a Sun Belt that's only getting more and more competitive before we even add the new members? Hey man, hosting a regional baseball is definitely a good start.
Absolutely. We'll get more with that. Rodney Hinnon going to join us, as I mentioned, coming up in the final hour. 40-18 on the year, really done a tremendous job, and now with a chance to play at home and potentially move on to a super regional. We'll talk to him about that coming up in the final hour. We'll step aside. We'll come back. OTA's happening there in Jacksonville, and Well, it happens with every team.
Oh,
You get to OTAs,
Here
and
it
all of a
comes.
sudden, chalk it up. Here we come. We'll get to that when we return. It's 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. We're streaming live, ESPNCoastal.com. You can also catch us live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel at ESPN Coastal there on YouTube. Great to be here on this Monday. Jags have OTAs. I know I saw some beat reporters in jest saying, "Hey, your schedule clear in January, fellas." Jest, and some people are like, "Are you serious?" It's like, calm down. But by some early accounts, Trevor Lawrence seemingly liking the fact that he has weapons and developing a rapport with some wide receivers, some good throws and catches against coverage. And one interesting note that, Travis Etienne, John Shipley saying Travis Etienne looks really fast. And to me, that would say that, if nothing else, putting that Liz Frank injury behind him. Again, we'll see what happens when you start hitting. But I think that was a concern of, okay, first off, can you get out there and run? Can you be elusive? Can you be quick coming off an injury like that? And apparently he's starting to look the part.
Kevin, I mean, the one thing about a Liz Frank injury that people need to understand is when you break the top of your foot, so you're breaking the strongest part of a foot. That's why it's so hard to come back. Basically, everything you need from your foot starts with the top of it. But I'm happy for Travis Etienne. Now you got to tell him this. All right, Travis, been a long time since you've been out there on this green grass. Slow down, young man. Because the thing about it is, this is, practice is where you hone in on your skill set, but the game is where you make your money. And I think the thing about it is, Kevin, look, once again, just like when, with Drake London and, Desmond Ridder, did you see him?
Right.
Well, the hype is a part of the confidence building process. We got to build the confidence in these guys. We got to show them, one, what a healthy working environment looks like. There go Doug Peterson. Check, got that. We want to show them what it is to go into a season with real momentum, not fake hype. We're talking about real momentum. Travis Etienne, right? I'm looking to see how they're gonna use him, right? And I think when you think about this team, I mean, James Robinson is going to be an asset. He don't got to worry about Carlos Hyde. Nothing against Carlos Hyde, former Ohio State Buckeye, getting reps because he played for Urban Meyer in college. That stuff is over with. The best guy gonna play. But if I got Christian Kirk, right? I got, Zay Jones on the other side. They're my two receivers. I got Evan Ingram at the tight end position. I got Trevor Lawrence, at the quarterback position. I got Travis Etienne in the backfield. I mean, not just, we live in a world of, paper hype. On paper, it looks really, really good. The problem is Travis Etienne is 22. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is 23. Right? I want to say Christian Kirk is 25, 26. Zay Jones, 26. It's a bunch of young guys, but none have, outside of Trevor Lawrence, have never been in a starting role like this. That's the thing about sports that I don't think people give people enough credit for is everybody wants to be a star, to be, have that leading role, Kevin, but everybody can't be a star in a movie, man. Some of us are built to be co-stars. There is nothing wrong with that. But that lead role is what everybody wants. It's going to be exciting to see, Kevin, because like I said, the Colts have the best team, right? The Titans might have the best player and defense. Even though I think the Colts defense might be better than the Titans, which is even scary to think about. I don't know who played for Houston. I'm sorry. I'm after this show, I'm gonna make sure I go look. I'm still not gonna know who. But Derek Stingley Jr. plays for him. John Mechie plays for him. So they got an LSU Tiger and they got an Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't know who's gonna be throwing the ball to him or who's gonna be trying to, who's gonna be covering. But I'm happy for Etienne, Kevin. I'm happy for this offense because I think when you think about this Jaguars team, they're gonna be led by. They are the Atlanta Falcons of the AFC. I'm gonna keep on saying it. You got a young guy in Trevor Lawrence who is supposed to be the next best thing. You got a guy in Travis Etienne who was hurt all last year. You gave him some weapons. You added some guys in the draft. I think on Cam Robinson, you got the O-line that I think you want. And what's crazy? This is why I think Travon Walker's going to struggle. We're only talking about the offense. You forget they had a number overall pick, Travon Walker out of Georgia. Now they've kind of seen him a little bit. And imagine this, helmet and shorts. Hey, man, you don't want to be that dude in helmet and shorts. But I do think this, Kevin, just like I know, if Jacksonville can't score, it's going to be a long year. Can't be a bunch of Buffalo games 9-6. They're going to have to put up points. I do think they got some guys that can definitely do it. We'll see what happens, Kevin. But just like I know, the hype has begun, people. And if you ain't seen Travis Etienne lately, whoo, that boy is moving. They got to slow him down. But I'm happy that Travis Etienne is back. It's hard to, as a guy, I never missed a whole year. But as a guy that had injury issues my entire time in the National Football League, even my rookie year, it's it's something in your head, man. You know, you got to get out of it because most guys have never had injuries, and how you respond to injuries is going to decide what type of player you become.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is the the hype of Jags saying, "Look, we want to be good offensively."
Yes.
Because I think they look at it and say, "Look, you have Trevor Lawrence, you have that like." This has got to be a team that scores more than 14, 17 points. It just has to be.
Yeah.
And maybe they can. I look
Score
at where
once a quarter. As my coach said, man, we got to get.
Where I think Atlanta Falcons fans are used to having good offense, and they look at the team and go, "I do see Russell Wilson." They're trying to hope themselves into some good offense.
And you look from the side in the dark, you might look like him. And it has nothing to do with Desmond Ridder, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what we do, right? We create these unrealistic expectations. I give you 2 words, Atlanta fans. Jason Hayward. Remember that? We need to cut that stuff. Oh, I'm trying to no. Yes, everybody would love for that first at bat to be a home run. The problem is how many bats after that at bat. That's the problem.
And he's had, like I said, it's funny. Like you said, I think it's true. Like he's had a decent MLB career since he left Atlanta, but I think it was, like you said, just overwhelming. The pressure in Atlanta to go out there, and you got people going, "Oh, he's gonna be he's over there, dapping up Hank Aaron and Chipper Jones, just giving him bro hugs at the first at bat." You're going, "All right now," but I do think Jacksonville fans are hoping that this offense can actually be something that they want to watch. And again, I think Trevor Lawrence is a guy that can make the throws. By all accounts, he looks sharp here early. Again, it's OTA, so they might have helmets on and no tackling, but apparently making some throws in some tight windows. Guys are still trying to defend passes, even if they're not tackling. So I think he's the key to a lot of it. And if he's as good, Ben, as people say he is and want him to be, then I think you're going to see a big step forward here, and you're going to see him put the team on his back and lift them up. Now, where's that in this year? Like we've both said, going from 3 to 7 wins, that's a pretty good leap in the National Football League if you can do it. So I think if you can see some more output offensively, that's what I think Jags fans are hoping. That what they're seeing now is something that can translate into the fall.
The thing about a guy like Trevor Lawrence, Kevin, since high school, he's been used to having a team on his back. This is a different situation, but we will see, Kevin. As I mentioned, it is Jacksonville. They do have pools at the stadium, so you're going to enjoy yourself at the stadium no matter what.
Well, if it ever gets too bad, you just go take a dip, right? You just get Trevor Lawrence just say he can just take it off, go up there and say, "Hey, I'm going to take a dip real quick." Well, what's the problem? Well, it's too hot out here to be playing like this. We are coming back 3 out. Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Hit us up on Twitter. Love to hear from you at Pigskin Radio. Take 3 on the flip side. Good to have you back here, 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. We'll chat with Franz Beard, Gator Bait, Florida, hosting a regional. Also, you got the SEC meetings going on in Destin. I know Billy Napier was asked about Kirby and Mark Richt, and he said, or not Mark Richt, I got this totally wrong, Jimbo and Nick, and Billy Napier already well-schooled in the meeting. I think he said, yeah, I'm not getting involved in all that. Like,
they said, Billy, man, how you feel like I make $7.1 million? I ain't worried about nothing.
I don't care what they say. They can be as mad as.
Listen. Before I got on the private jet, I mean, it was so bad. And once they had my favorite drink on the private jet, I said to myself, I'm good. Like, I called my lady when we was 30,000 square feet saying, baby, we made it.
Kirby Smart, we'll talk about Kirby Smart. He sounded off at the SEC meetings there in Destin as well, and we'll get to that in hour number 2. Also, Rodney Hinnon, top of the final hour, Georgia Southern head baseball coach, will join us. But Ben, let's take 3, shall we, on this Tuesday on 3 and Out. All right, take 1. Warriors v. Celtics, the NBA Finals. Who will be the MVP?
Wow. Now, for my money,
I'm asking you to look into the future.
Yeah, okay. For me, I think it has to be Steph. Now, let me say this right. Steph Curry has done it all, right? Kevin, he's done it all. 3-time finals champion, won 3 finals, so got 3 rings. I think back to back, I think our two regular seasons, I think it was a unanimous MVP, like got every vote. The greatest shooter we've ever seen, right? One thing he doesn't have on his resume is a finals MVP. That would be Andre Iguodala, and that would be Kevin Durant in back-to-back years. I'm not saying if he doesn't get it, his legacy is going to be tarnished. Kevin, you know we live in a world of buts. Oh, whatever, but he didn't do this. He didn't do that. Steph Curry has done it all. He's won the 3-point contest, revolutionized how we look at shooting the basketball with guys like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, right? And I just think that when you think about a guy like Steph Curry, he is the LeBron James of his era. He is not LeBron, but of his era, yes, he is. And I think that for me, I just think that when you look at so many stars, I mean, Clay, Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart, Draymond, Al Horford, the prestige that is that of the Celtics versus, the only legacy we know of the Warriors is by Steph and company. I just think for me it's going to be Steph Curry because I think when all the stars align, I think Steph can still take his game to another level. Why? Because he doesn't dunk. He doesn't play above the rim. I'm a shooter, people. Steph Curry looks and plays the same. I look like, man, he don't look like he ain't banging down low. Nope. I'm out there on that arc, just living and dying with it. So for me, Kevin, I think it's going to be Steph Curry because I think that's what it is. That's what it is about the finals to me. Michael Jordan was still the best player no matter all 6 finals. LeBron James, he didn't win every finals he was in and the 10. He was still the best player on the court, regardless of if he won or lost. Kobe, even now, obviously he was becoming that player, but when he had, you could see it coming. Even when he had Shaq for those back-to-back. So for me, I think it's going to be Steph Curry because, like I said, when you put them all out there, young players, older players, seasoned players, veteran players, I just think Steph just has that class about him, man, that cachet about him. That's just different, man. I want to see the little shoulders. He got his little, I don't know why the hell he got the freaking mouthpiece. He chew on it all freaking game. I mean, but give me number 30, Steph Curry.
Yeah, I think Jason Tatum might be ready for that.
Yeah.
You talk about a rise in stature.
And he's been to, I think Jason Tatum has been to like 3 or 4 Eastern Conference Finals already since he's been in the NBA.
But I mean, you talk about raising a legacy, right? It's part of when you do it. Like Giannis raised his legacy by winning it. But you win an MVP and win a championship with the Boston Celtics. I mean, that's next level. It's like Kobe with the Lakers. Like same thing with Shaq.
Iconic.
You're a great player. You win it with the LA Lakers.
Come on.
That's next level. So I think Jason Tatum, I think that's a guy that has a chance to really rewrite that legacy. So I'm going to go with him before we've even
Jay Tatum nice.
got into it.
I can't disagree with Jay Tatum was nice.
All right, moving on, Ben. Take two. Very simply, are you worried about the Braves?
No, I'm concerned, but I'm not worried. Tell you why. I'm gonna tell you the difference right here. Word is something down the line, something like, oh man, I'm worried they're not gonna figure it out. Concern is for the current day. I am concerned because I think they're pressing, and like I said, look, I've never, for those people that are going to go through the track record, Pop won a championship when I was 7 or 9, and I won an SEC championship when I was 18. It was a little dim before and after, right? So I want to check my track record. There it is. But all I know is I don't know what it's like to be a defending anything. But I can tell you cannot press. Like the thing about this Braves team is, Kevin, they do weird stuff. Like Ronald Acuna Jr. singing in the dugout. Or, Albies and company. Just like, to me, they're a team of personalities. And I think what happens is I don't want the Braves. Listen, I love Freddie Free. I love guys like Mark Akins and company. I don't want the Braves to become that. I don't want them, we're just going to work. No, they have fun. When Kung Fu Panda was there with the freaking panda head, like, that's them. That's them. And I think that they can still play baseball. With all the personality, with all the antics, they can still play baseball. I think that, like you said earlier, Marcel, he doesn't need to be in the outfield. Like, that takes away his confidence, because what I excel at on the plate, man, I'm not saying he's on the player, but he's saying, please God, don't hit it to me. Because I
think a lot of people are saying don't hit it to him.
So I think that for me, it's just being concerned about the fact that they're pressing, they're trying to do too much. They're still a really, really good ball club, dealing with injuries, dealing with, guys going in and out of slumps. So for me, I'm just concerned with the fact that they're getting too business-like on a team that's more like to have fun, like to be free-flowing, like to go out there and have fun and try to win some ball games.
Yeah, I'm not worried, as I said. I'll just reiterate what I said at the beginning of the show. You're 9.5 behind the Mets. That's not good. I'm not here to say, hey, that's awesome. What I will say is you are in a stretch playing bad teams. I think so far you've won and the Mets have won, and you've lost and the Mets have still won. And that has kind of hurt you a little bit. But you got Arizona, you got Colorado, you got the Pirates, you got the Cubs. You have some teams that you should be able to beat and win series. The Braves so far during this stretch, we talked about it, from May 20th to June 20th, that was the stretch. So far, they've been winning series and splitting series. The Mets are about to enter a stretch starting on Thursday where they play the Padres, the Angels, the Brewers, and the Astros. That's 5 really good teams. That all happens while the Braves are playing the Pirates and teams like that. Got to take advantage of it. If you get to the end of that stretch, which I think it's a 2-gamer against Houston, and on June 22nd or 23rd, you're still 8-9 games out, i.e. you've made up no ground over this stretch of games against bad sub-500 teams, then I would say, yes, something has got to change. And some things I think got to change is, look, Braves, let Ronald Acuna play on turf. I understand. He tore his knee up in Miami, and you're like, natural grass or nothing. And that's why he DHs and doesn't play the field. But come on, man, like, that is a big piece of your team, not just at the plate, but in the field. You put him and Michael Harris out there, you are vastly better defensively than without those guys. And I think he's going to play tonight in Arizona, and that'll be one of the first times I think we've seen him on artificial turf is tonight. But I think if you're the Braves, I get the tendency to want to err on the side of caution with Ronald Acuna. But I think at some point you have to look at it and say, is he healthy enough to play? If that answer is yes, play him. And I know you say, well, we're worried about long-term. Is he injured now? Because I think sometimes, Ben, we look at stuff and we say, well, we don't want to play too much because, down the road, he might get injured. Well, I mean, you can play that game forever. Steven Strasburg, one of the best seasons going. And they sat him and waited because they didn't want to put it off for down the road. And what happened? It took them forever to get back into a situation where they could win a World Series. Now, it was with Strasburg, but the point being, they passed on a chance for something down the road that didn't come for 5 or 6 years later. So I look at the Braves, and I sometimes look at sportsmen, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm just being like, hey, you're a fan being selfish. But I think sometimes in sports, when you start saying, we want to protect against injury, Well, there's only two ways to do that. And that is, or one way to do that, and that is to not play.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're healthy, there's no reason for you to not play. Because you get that with, football. Hey, we want to take guys out. We don't want guys to get hurt. Well, if you're telling them don't get hurt and not play hard, that's when they get hurt. So I think let Ronald Acuna go out there and play if he is fully recovered. If not, then maybe you shouldn't have brought him back so early. That's all I'm saying. Let him get fully recovered. But if he's able to play, because then I'm no expert. But when I watch Ronald Acuna play baseball, it sure looks like he's going full out. So if he's able to do that, let him play. That's my little soapbox.
Well, hold on,
for the Braves.
But I want to address something you said. I don't like when managers and GM start saying we. You're not speaking for the team. You're speaking for these closed door conversations. You're doing what's best for the player, and I get it. It's the job of them to do what's best for the player. But baseball is a game of rhythm. I can't get in the rhythm playing this game. I can't play. I'm a baseball. I almost said something crazy. I'm an everyday baseball player. Yeah. I'm not a starting pitcher. And people go, that's another reason why pitchers get hurt a lot, because they're throwing 100 miles an hour every 5 days, and sometimes that shoulder gets out of whack. With a guy like Ronald Acuna Jr., he's definitely a rhythm guy, because I think he might be overcompensating. Am I going extra hard because I know I might not play for the next 2 games? I'm like you, Kevin. Look, I'm not with this. All of a sudden, we can see into the future. So if he doesn't play, he's not going to get hurt for the future. But you won't play him in the present? Well, he's got to be ready for the future in the present. You got to play him because you got to get in his rhythm. So I've never understood the whole we thing when they quote doing what's best. No, he's a superstar player. Just call it what it is.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with you. All right, Ben, take 3 here. And I have to do it because I'm very interested just to get your thought.
Yeah.
So Christian has got us on the thing, and I've kind of started doing it just because you get some interesting reactions from time to time. Today is National Autonomous Vehicle Day, i.e. the cars that can drive themselves. If for those of you who are like, what's an autonomous vehicle? It uses GPS. It can drive. I guess you type in where you want to go. It drives itself. Yep. They're working on it. Would you let the car drive?
Yes.
You would?
Now, ho.
I'm surprised. I thought you would have been like, absolutely not.
Hold on. Let me put this in the context. So, not all the time. Like, not all the time. Kevin, this is one of those. Kevin, listen, you're a baseball dad. I'm a soccer dad. There are times when I am AKA tired as hell. I am tired, right? But, because this is the thing, Kevin.
And dad always has to drive.
Dog days of summer. Listen, we get the dog days of spring and the dog days of summer. Great game. Woo! Gotta go home. Woo! And I am woo. Yeah. Now, however long it's take to get home, just add another hour. We're not going fast.
That AC gets to blow and you're like,
I'm gonna say, listen, I'm gonna put it in. Now, I gotta say this. We can't be, now if it's 5-6 hours away, no. We're talking about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now, but once again,
so you're only willing to trust it for so far?
Oh yeah, Kevin. Because mind you,
I'm just making sure.
Mind you now, my car got to have a back roads like thing. Boop, boop. We ain't on the main highways now. My car got to know turn left right here, but it said turn right here. So certain situations, yes. Now because certain times, and Kevin, it's a flex. Sometimes like if we got to go, 45 minutes. You be like, Ben, what are you doing? No, just get in the back. Why? You know what I'm saying? It's like, take us to the stadium. Be like, what are you taking us to the stadium? Yeah. Now, but you know me, Kevin. I'm a driver. I'm a person who love to drive. All day, every day? No. This is what self-driving cars are really for. This is what they're really for. Let's be honest. Some of us have, grandparents and older parents, right? And sometimes we want to get them places, right? And they're stubborn people. Get in the back, and I'm going to need you to get over here. Other than that, I'm not because this is my thing. Now, I will say this. This might be a little, just say you run a light, whoop, 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 and you can jump in the back.
Car did it, not me.
The police like, sir, you was just talk to the driver. What? Talk to the driver. But no, but sometimes
I gotta say I am surprised by your answer.
No. Sometimes yes, but Kevin, I would have to get you one, Kevin.
No, I thought you would be a hard no on that.
Because the missus ago, Now, I will say this to those of us that got to be in two places at once, and we can't. AKA, our children got to be over here, children got to be over there. Would you trust the car
to go pick them up?
To go pick them up, only because it's the thing. People go, well, what if they use voice activation? No. Their voices don't sound like, because they're going to say, your dad said you cannot drive the car. Get in the back. Get your behind in the back. No. I do think it's a flex to have, but I'm a person that wants to drive more. So, so listen, 80% of the time, 85% of the time, no. 15% of the time, yes, depending on the situation.
See, I understand that, like, hey, it's a long drive. I want to go, but I would not trust it to go to sleep. I would not want to go to sleep and be like, this thing, because you ever driven some back Georgia country highway and you try to look on your phone, it's like lost signal. Like, how's the car know to adjust for that? That's all I'm saying. So look, I think autonomous vehicles, whatever, are cool. Hey, they drive themselves, don't need a driver. I wouldn't trust it. I would not let the car drive me, period. Then you want to hear something really weird? And my wife thinks I'm weird for doing this. I do not use cruise control. I have cruise control in my vehicle. My wife has cruise control in her car. When we go on trips, she's like, why won't you set the cruise? I'm like, don't like it. Feel like I'm out of control of the vehicle. Well, if I feel like I'm out of control on cruise, what in the world am I going to do when I don't even have my hands on the steering wheel? And little computer goes, get your hands off the wheel.
Now, I will say, this thing, Kevin, when you start talking about these type of cars, we have to be able to design them, meaning I need big, thick tires. Because the roads ain't built for these tires no more, like the pothole. And at the same time, right? You know, like you say, Kevin, it's like I'm too paranoid when it comes to stuff. Because, like I said, for those you ain't have to drive when you listen, tired and heat don't mix, people. And you've been out in that heat and that sun all day. And all I'm saying, and this is the thing, Kevin. I don't know if you have experienced this. You and the missus and the kids in the car. All right, y'all buckle up. And last time you hit the click, that's the last thing you're gonna hear. Everybody's out. It's like driving by yourself. I'm like, I need y'all help.
Yep.
Can y'all help me out? You look at them, because like you said, Kevin, they under that AC.
Yeah. My wife's done that to me several times. I distinctly remember one time we were, visiting her parents who lived a couple hours away. And on the way, we were getting in the car on the way back and said, hey, I'm kind of tired. We left a little later than I thought we were going to. I said, can you stay up and just talk so I can, keep the brain stimulated and we can drive. And she goes, yeah, that's no problem. I'm good. Then we aren't 5 minutes down the road. I was like, and then then has I hope she's listening right now. Then, because she knows it's true, then has the audacity to wake up 20 minutes from the house and say, you good? You need me to drive? I'm like,
whoa, she hit you with at the end?
Yeah. It's like, would you like me to pull it over by the driveway and you just
no, man. Look,
I mean, no,
I got two, man. When I used to have a car full of kids with me. I had a bunch of them. Heading to my sister's house one time, and Bambi tried me. Bambi jumped out there too early. Boom, and hit Bambi right here on the side of the road. Listen now, I need it, bam. So I got to pull over, look at the damage. It ain't too bad. I kind of messed up my life a little bit, whatever. Kevin, I get in the car. I'm looking to make sure. Listen, because they were asleep. This is how you know these cars are just the truth. I look in the back, sleep. I done pulled the car over. I done got out, checked on Bambi gone. Bambi with the Bambi heaven. He's out of here.
Take off.
Do you know we get to my sister's house and they go, Daddy, how about your light? That would be hit a deer. Yeah. You hit a deer?
Do the autonomous vehicles know when a deer runs out in the middle of the road?
No.
I'm saying, like, does it? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like,
or is it just full speed ahead? Boom! Just keep going.
Yeah. It's almost like. Yeah, I'm just saying, man. Like, it sounds too good to be true. But this is what's gonna happen, Kevin. Listen, we'll just have to, we have to get one for the station and test it out with Dad. Just going. I
will let y'all test drive it first. I don't like being out of control. I wouldn't sit there. It'd feel weird sitting behind the seat and the car's just going, and I'm just sitting there like. Not touch it. Like, I can't do that.
Well, maybe that's what it is, Kevin. Maybe you're driving something, right? And maybe you go, hey, man, give me 20 minutes. They go, and you're right there, and it's doing it. Yeah, you sitting there like, it's, because in a sense, though, that ain't going to work either. Because if I say give me 20,
what is it? What does it drive? What if it drives worse than I do?
It might do, though. Like what if they give you the car and you have to drive it for a month so we can see how you drive and it's adjusted?
Well, there'd be a lot of people that would not be allowed.
But you're on the side of the road. Oh,
there'd be a lot of people who be like, sir, you are not allowed to have the autonomous vehicle package because, well, We've seen how you
I want the
drive,
car,
and
I
quite
want the car that
frankly,
got the road rage package.
now that would be good.
Yes.
I would take the road rage package. That's take 3. We do it every day. This time we're coming back. France Beer going to join us. We're talking SEC meetings in Desert, Florida, hosting a regional there against Central Michigan, Liberty, Oklahoma, as college baseball gets underway with the tournament this weekend. It's 3 and Out, Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here, 3 and Out on this Tuesday. Kevin and Ben, and SEC meetings going on in Destin. Also, college baseball getting down to the regionals. Georgia Southern, number 16 seed, they're hosting a regional. Florida, number 13, hosting a regional as well for baseball. Joining us here from Gator Bait, Franz Beer joins us here on 3 and Out. Franz, welcome to 3 and Out. How are you?
It's another lovely day here in paradise, although our sunshine is coming in the liquid variety at the moment.
And again, hey, baseball, though, hopefully it'll clear out by this weekend. Florida finishing off a good year, coming up short at Tennessee in the final, but hosting a regional against Central Michigan, Liberty, Oklahoma. Franz, you saw this team. How good was the SEC this year, and how good is this Florida team?
Well, this Florida team is the team nobody really wants to play because they got hot at the right time. And it took a lot of patience on the part of Kevin O'Sullivan because he had kids. You know that Florida doesn't have a single pitcher on the team that is more than a sophomore. They've only got 3 of those. Everybody else is a freshman. And when Hunter Barco went down, that was their only experienced pitcher. So it took a while for the kids to figure it out. And here's where the problem is. You get kids at this level, and they're used to being in high school where, okay, I'm behind 2-0. I'll just throw them 3 fastballs and blow them away. Well, you try that in college, and you try 3 fastballs in a row, and guess what happens? You're watching, you're getting whiplash while you're watching the ball go out over the fence somewhere. And it took a while for them to figure that out. And give Kevin a lot of patience. He's a guy that's been here at Florida, won an awful lot of ball games, been to the College World Series several times, won it all. Knows what it takes and knows how to be patient with them. So he's patient with the kids. The bats are really good. Wyatt Langford is at worst the second best player in the entire SEC. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. He really is. You look at what he's done. He's hitting 363, 23 homers, 60 RBIs. He's played left field. And this is a guy that caught and played first base all his life. Now he's playing left field and proving to be one of the best left fielders in all of college baseball. Great. He's turned into be an outstanding defensive player who not only can go forward and get the ball, but go back on the ball and then knows where to throw it to the right base all the time. So it's a really good Florida team, and it's the kind of team that a lot of people don't want to mess with. Tennessee's the best team in the league, probably the best team in the country right now. I got asked today on another show, is this the greatest college baseball team of all time by Tennessee? And I said, let them win a national championship, then maybe we can talk about it. But if we recall, in 2015, Florida went to the College World Series with a team that ended up losing in the semifinals. And on that team, we only had 12 guys who are now in the major leagues, 5 guys that are now in AAA, and 1 guy who's in AA. So that was a pretty good ball club. So I don't know that Tennessee's got 19 guys that are going to make it to AA or higher. Or I don't know if they got 12 guys that are going to make it to the big leagues. They got several, but they're a really good team. They're the best team this year. I'm not going to say they're the best of all time, but they're the best team this year by far. And, but, get some of the guys, you get in these short series and you only have to get in the loser's bracket one time and then crawling your way out of the loser's bracket's a tough thing.
And friends, Florida obviously hosting the regional. How important is it to host a regional, especially for a team like Florida? Come up, as Kevin mentioned, a little bit short against Tennessee, but very, very good. And as you keep mentioning, they seem to be the team that nobody wants to play right now.
Well, playing at home is always a good thing. Ben, it's kind of like in football. You played for the Gators. You just play a little bit better when you sleep in your own bed. You just play a little bit better when you eat your own food, that you're used to eating and stuff like that. And hanging around with your own teammates, and not just getting out of a hotel room and then going to some converted ballroom where they got a breakfast buffet up that somebody else cooked. Sleeping, how many road trips did you make that you thought, my gosh, how is it that we got this hotel with the worst beds in the world? I bet there were more than 3 or 4 of them, weren't there? And you just sleep better, better. And, you got your own fans, you got your own friends and family going to be there and everything. It's just better to host it. And because here's the thing, Ben, you get that momentum. You win your regional and you get that momentum. More importantly, you get that confidence going into the next level, because that next level is 2 out of 3. And you're thinking to yourself, all I got to do is beat these people twice and I'm going to Omaha. The whole mindset changes when you win the regional, and playing at home, having that home field advantage, I think is a very, very important thing.
Franz Beard joining us here on 3 and Out. Fran, also going on this week, got those SEC meetings. Obviously, everybody tried to get the coaches to weigh in on Jimbo and Nick, but what do you think comes out of there? A lot of talk about transfer portal stuff and future scheduling. How do you see that shaping up, if anything, out of those meetings this week?
I think the important thing, that the single most important thing that's going to happen, and it doesn't have anything to do with Jimbo and Nick. In fact, I guarantee you this: Greg Sankey privately is giggling till his sides hurt because of this. Because guess what? It guarantees that on October 8th, the largest college football TV audience, maybe in the last 15 years, will be tuning in to a ball game that's not even mid-season. That game is guaranteed to be an absolute positive, big-time sellout. He's giggling about that. But Nick and Jimbo are the sideshow. The main event is one that we may not hear much about, which is going to be Greg Sankey is going to come out of there with the 14 presidents and athletic directors, plus probably Texas athletic director and president, and Oklahoma's president and athletic director are probably there since they're coming in. Now, they won't get a vote on this, but they're going to have a say in this. And what they're going to do is they're going to give Greg Sankey their blessing. You do what you got to do to keep us on top. I think that the one thing that we may see announced is I think they will say that when Texas and Oklahoma join the league, we will go from an unsustainable, bad 8-game divisional format to where everybody has 3 permanent opponents, and you play 6 games against the other guys. And with that, there's other 6 guys. Okay, I play. Let's say I got on my schedule, I got Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. Okay, let's just say I got those 6. Well, I play them home and home. Well, guess what happens after that? Then I play the other 6 teams home and home that aren't on my permanent 3. So every 4 years, you're going to be guaranteed home and home. You think about this for a school like Florida. Every 4 years, Florida is going to play Oklahoma and Texas home and home. They're going to play, Georgia is going to play Oklahoma and Texas home and home. Is going to play Alabama home and home every 4 years. That's a powerful, powerful thing. And you know who's going to really benefit from this? ABC, ESPN, and the SEC network, because they're going to have great games guaranteed because of this. I'll ask you guys, put yourself in the chair of the CEO of ESPN, and now that you're going to get games like this. You're going to have Oklahoma and Alabama, Texas and Georgia, Florida and Oklahoma. You're going to get all these games every single year. You're going to have games like this, and that is for a network exec, that's paradise. But think about the fans too. What do you think about that, guys?
I mean, it's pretty freaking epic. I mean, I think what happens is, and when you think about France, I mean, those networks that you mentioned, of course they're gonna be just going crazy when you look at, like you mentioned, Georgia home and home, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida home and home with Georgia. I mean, Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama home and home with Georgia. I just think that when you look at, I think it begs the biggest question. Greg Sankey is not arguable. He is the most powerful person in college athletics right now. Do you see the SEC staying with the NCAA once they add Texas and Oklahoma, or do they stick with the NCAA and hopefully force more teams in the college football playoff?
What I think will happen in 2025 is I think that college football will break away from the NCAA, and I think they'll just tell the NCAA from this point on that this is the way it'll be. You run the events like the basketball tournament, et cetera, like that. The NCAA does a great job running these things. What they don't do a great job of, if, for example, is enforcing the rules, et cetera, like that. They don't. I think that if you take football out of the equation,
Did we lose Franz? You there? I think we may have lost him. We'll step aside. We ran away. We had some great stuff there. We'll come back with more 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on 3 and Out. We have reconnected with Franz Beard. And Franz, wanted to let you finish making your point there. We were talking about Greg Sankey becoming the most powerful guy in college football and kind of where that leads us to.
Well, here's the thing: is that Greg Sankey holds the key to all the kingdoms. Okay, let's just put it that way. The SEC is the most powerful conference. You can have a national championship format playoff without the ACC. We've done it a bunch of times. Without the Big 12, we've done that a bunch of times. Without the Pac-12, we've done that a bunch of times. And even without the Big 10, we've done that before. Not as frequently as some of these other conferences, but we've done it. What can't you do? What can you not do the national championship playoff with? You can't do it without the SEC. He knows that. They know that. The contract with the college football playoff expires in 2025. At that point in time, Greg Sankey can go his own way, do his own thing. And then, believe me, that scares the ever-loving hell out of all these other conferences, because he could then do like an SEC invitational at the end of the year. And guess what? Who's going to stop him from having an SEC invitational? You don't think that ESPN would gobble that up? You don't think that somebody like, big time advertiser like Anheuser-Busch or Bud Light or AT&T or Verizon or somebody like that, you don't think they would jump on that in a heartbeat and have that? And then the SEC can invite whoever they want. And that scares the almost competitive conference. That scares the LAC-12. That scares the Big 10 plus 4. They can't do the math. There's 14 of them, not 10. So anyway, he's the most powerful guy. He can do what he wants. They know that he can do what he wants. And he's coming out of these spring meetings with a mandate from the president: you keep us on top. He's going to do it.
Franz Beard, Gator Bait, joining us here on 3 and Out. Franz, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Franz Beard joining us here on 3 and Out from Gator Bait and those SEC meetings in Destin. Ben, as he said, what is the messaging coming out? And as he said, Greg Sankey come out and say, look, we're going to give you 3. You're going to play 6. I think a lot of people are coming around to that. 6 every other year or every 2 years, Ben, gives you home and home with everybody in the conference over the course of 4 years. You can then go to recruits and say, you're going to play everybody in the conference twice if you stay for 4 years, and you will go to every school. You will visit every stadium in the SEC at least once while you are here in the SEC. I think that's big. If that's what comes out, we haven't seen that. But again, at the end of the day, I think what he said at the end is probably the most important thing, in that the climate that we are in, the SEC can do whatever it wants, quite frankly. I mean, people are like, oh, but literally, as he said, if they want to do their own playoff, everybody knows they could do it. Or have an SEC invitational. Everybody knows they could do it. And who's turning it down? Nobody. If the SEC said, we're going to 20 teams, Greg Sankey would have to install 17 more phone lines at the SEC offices, because people wouldn't be able to call fast enough to say, can we get one of those? And so, Ben, I think that's what people see coming down the line when they say, could there be a split? Could there be some of these things happening? Because the money is too great and it's not enough, probably, in some of these other conferences long term to keep up with what's happening there with Greg Sankey and the SEC.
If you did not want the SEC to understand its bargaining power, if you did not want the SEC to understand how influential it was, you shouldn't have let it be marketed and branded the way it is. You know how many people already think that the SEC, owns a part of ESPN? They say, oh man, they always. Well, Kevin, think about this. What is SEC? What is ESPN and SEC all about? Games and programming. Are there better games on the internet? No. Is there a better program? Like you just said, think about it. Georgia, Alabama, a lot of eyes. Texas A&M, Florida, a lot of eyes. LSU, Texas, got a lot of eyes a couple of years ago when that 2019 LSU team went to Texas and was really, really good game. I think that what Greg Sankey is saying to himself is he goes, look, are we going to go for this or not? Like, because once we make a decision, this is what the future is going to look like. So if we're going to stick with the NCAA, we got to put out, listen, we got to draw a line in the sand. This is what it is. Because Kevin, you know, there will be no going back. Once you say we're breaking off, ain't no, can we? No.
You're not getting the invite.
And I think sometimes, right, you start talking about these platforms stability. I mean, it looks easy to do to just jump out there by yourself, but the NCAA has been there for a reason. You might want to hang on to them as long as you can.
Again, we'll keep an eye on these meetings this week in Destin, see what kind of the big talking points are that are coming out. But the day one stuff, everybody's got to talk about Jimbo and Nick. We'll come back. More to come. It's 3 and Out Southern Pigskin Radio Network. Good to have you back here on this Tuesday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you are with us. Braves and Diamondbacks coming up late tonight, 8:25. We'll have pregame coverage. That'd be a 9:40 first pitch here this evening. So a little bit of late night baseball for you coming up as the Braves out west in Arizona, trying to make up some ground. They're 9.5 out of first place in the Mets. They are in second in the East, but 9.5 out, trailing the Mets, trying to keep playing some good baseball. Ronald Acuna is out there tonight, and Marcell Ozuna is going to be your DH so that he cannot misplay any more balls out there in left field. So hopefully Braves get it going tonight, Ben, and I can put one back in the win column, try to slice into that lead of the New York Mets.
Kevin, at the end of the day, just like I always say, when it comes to these Braves, it's going to come down to how comfortable they can be, when they out there, not just on the field, not just, on the field, but when they're in the dugout, they got to be loose. They got to play loose. They got to have fun, because no matter what, these last 4 years, they're not just fun to watch. They're fun to watch with the personalities. And the farther away they get from that, it's just, I don't want to hear this blue collar. Nope. I don't want the personality of the team to be that of Snit. I love Snit right there, but Snit has this. Don't ask me no questions. I know you got to ask me questions. Now go ahead, so I can get it over with. Give me personality. Give me life. Give me a little juice. But Kevin, until you come in here going, my God, I think I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Hey, they need a little something. There's no question they could use. We keep saying, hey, we found a spark. I do think there is some quiet momentum. They've won series. Haven't lost a series in 3 or 4 series now. So I think they're starting to get some quiet momentum. We'll see if it carries over. We'll get to some baseball talk. Rodney Hinnon, head baseball coach at Georgia Southern University, going to join us. They're hosting a regional. He'll join us in the final hour. We'll also talk some SEC meetings from Destin here on 3 and Out. Good to have you along here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas and Ben Troop, thanks for joining us here in the final hour of the program. Coming up this weekend, going to be a big time in Statesboro as the Eagles set to host a baseball regional for the first time. Notre Dame, Texas Tech, UNC, Greensboro, all coming in to Statesboro. And Ben joining us here on the show here, the top of hour number 3, the head baseball coach of the Georgia Southern Eagles, 40-18 on the season. Rodney Hinnon joins us. Coach, welcome. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. Hope you guys are doing well, and I appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, we appreciate you taking some time and joining us. I know you've been doing it a long time in Statesboro. How special is this group of guys to keep fighting and get you guys a regional there in Statesboro?
Well, yesterday was a special day for our program and certainly for this group of kids this year. I can't say enough about this group of young men. It's just been a joy to coach these guys every day. Kind of the hallmark, I guess, of this group, this team is they show up every day ready to work. They play hard and compete for 9 innings, more than that, if that's what it takes, every day. And I think people that have followed us this year, have enjoyed, the way these guys play the game. And, they've worked awful hard to put ourselves in this position. And, this time of the year, this is where you want to be. You just want to have an opportunity to play your way to Omaha. And beginning Friday, we'll get that opportunity. And the fact that we're able to do it here in Statesboro in front of our fans, that's pretty special.
Coach, winning 40 games is not something that happens every day in baseball, especially in college baseball. Talk about the ebbs and flows of the season. I obviously topped it off with hosting a regional, but you talk about how your guys just come to work, ready to work every day. But 40 wins, that's a great testament to the hard work and dedication these guys put in the season.
Yeah, no question. I mean, the college season is a grind. You're talking 56 games and the travel and these guys obviously balancing the demands of academics and the season itself. And we try to play a competitive schedule every year. Our league is very good. I think testament to that is the fact that we've got 4 teams in the regionals this year, and our league is only going to continue to get better with some of the additions that'll begin next year. And again, outside the league, we always try to play a tough schedule. I think that prepares you for league play, and also think it gives you an opportunity to build a resume. And this year for us, I think it helped, one, the strength of our league, and also teams in our state had good seasons, and we had a strong RPI. But again, the key is being able to show up ready to play every day, and being able, when you get knocked down, being able to get back up, and that's one thing this team has done a great job of this year. When we've dropped some tough games here or there, they've been able to turn the page and bounce back. It's a very resilient group, and we were able to win 40 games against one of the more competitive schedules that we played.
Rodney Hinnon, Georgia Southern head baseball coach, joining us here on 3 and Out. And was there a moment during the season where you thought, man, we're pretty good? We're going to have a good chance to make the NCAA tournament. And was there another moment where you thought we might actually have a chance to stay at home in Statesboro at the end of the day? Do you remember a specific moment in the season where you thought, hey, some of this stuff might be in the cards for us?
Well, I'm always real careful. You don't want to get ahead of yourself too much. This game will humble you in a hurry. But yeah, I did sense that we had a chance to do some special things this year. We went through a lot of adversity early in the season. We opened up in Knoxville, and if you would have told us on that bus ride home that Sunday when we left Knoxville we were going to be hosting a regional, I don't know how many people would have believed you at that point. But again, I think that speaks to the resiliency of this team. I mean, we came home and got a big win against Georgia Tech in our home opener. Then we lost a couple of guys that following weekend when we played a really good Central Florida team here. So we're sitting there 2-5 at that point. But then that's when we started. We had some comeback wins not long after that. I remember a home series against Miami. I think 3 one-run games in which we came back. I think in each of those games to win, and started to get a little confidence, and guys, I think started believing, and we got on a little bit of a roll, and then, we had a really tough stretch schedule-wise within our league. We had back-to-back weekends on the road at Louisiana, and then at Texas State. And I think going out to San Marcos and winning 2 or 3 games against a really good Texas State team that won 26 games in our league this year, we really, I think, got some momentum heading into the second half of the season at that point. And again, guys just did a good job of just taking it one game at a time. And, when we dropped a couple here or there, they were able to bounce back and just play good, consistent baseball, down the stretch to put ourselves in this position.
And Coach, when you talk about the ebbs and flows of the season, what was it like? Like, what is it like getting the call or realizing, look, the goal is to make it to the tournament, as we know, to get to Omaha. But what is it like knowing we're hosting a regional? I mean, that's very, very prestigious. I mean, a lot of teams out there, only 64 going to make it in. To know that you're one of the hosts, did you get the call? Did you watch it on television? What was that feeling like when you got the call saying, hey, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, they're coming to Statesboro?
Yeah, well, it's they're only 16 host sites, so that's pretty special. To be one of those, 16 hosts, no question. Actually, we were on the bus, heading back from Montgomery. We lost a heartbreaker in the championship game to Louisiana, and I know how bad our kids wanted to win that Sun Belt championship on Sunday, and it stung. And one thing about this group, they hate to lose. It doesn't matter, weekend game, midweek game, or championship game. It really hurts this group to lose. And so it was a pretty somber bus ride heading out of Montgomery. I talked to them after the game and just trying to pick them up. Hey, fellas, as bad as it hurts right now, the bigger prize is in front of us, and we've got a lot to play for. We got to turn the page. But it was a pretty somber ride home, and then the announcement came out, at 8:30 on Sunday night, and it went from somber to elation in a heartbeat. Guys hugging, slapping each other, high five. So that was a nice shot in the arm for us on Sunday night, and the guys they're excited about the opportunity we have in front of us this weekend.
Rodney Hinnon joining us here, head baseball coach at Georgia Southern. Where do you feel the strength of your team is now heading into the postseason?
Well, I think, looking at the regular season, I mentioned it earlier, I think we've been a very consistent baseball team. And I think a lot of that starts with our defense. We've got an older group of position players. And we've played really good defense throughout the year. I think we're fielding 982 at the end of the regular season, which is somewhere in the top 15, top 20 in the country. And our bullpen has been steady for us most of the year. And as we've played, I think you've seen the bats heat up, especially the last month of the season, down the stretch. So this is the time of the year where you want to be playing your best baseball, obviously, and I feel like we've got better as the season has gone along, and we're certainly going to need to play well this weekend.
Coach, when you talk about the personality of a team, obviously you want to be playing your best baseball going into the postseason as you guys are. You mentioned, the heartbreaker coming back, from Alabama to get the news, on Sunday night. But is there a certain personality trait that you look for in a player? Not necessarily like going into the postseason, but saying, look, your team better than anybody else. And obviously being a coach, you have to read mannerisms. You have to read body language. Is there something that you see in your team to say if they're ready or not ready to play?
Yeah, every day you're watching guys. And the thing about baseball, we're at the ballpark 3 hours before start time on a normal game day, at least when we're at home. And so you're always just observing, guys, their mannerisms. And, this team, I tell you, for me this year, I've had to do very little. The best thing I've, had to do is just stay out of the way. Again, I touched on it earlier. These guys, it's a very unselfish group. All they're concerned about is winning ball games. Every day they show up at the ballpark. They're not concerned about stats. They're not concerned about draft status. They're not concerned about who gets the credit. And that's the thing that I've, as a coach, enjoyed and appreciated the most about this team. There's a really strong leadership on this team. They hold each other accountable. And again, for me, I've just tried to stay out of the way, be consistent with a message throughout the year. And this team has just taken a lot of pride in competing every day. They play hard. They play with a lot of passion. And I think that's one thing that our fans have really appreciated probably most about this team is just how hard they play.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about a couple of your players, including one from our local area out of Savannah Christian, Jarrett Brown, and hit over 336 RBIs for you. Talk about what he's meant to your baseball team this year.
Well, Jarrett, he continues to develop and improve, and I talked about our defense earlier. He's as good as anyone I've ever had over there defensively at third base. He's rangy, covers a lot of ground. He's got great hands. He's got a strong, accurate arm. He comes in on the slow roller very well. So he's a big part of our defense, and he's continued to develop as a hitter. You mentioned hitting over 300. He's had some big hits for us throughout the year. Broke open the semifinal game on Saturday with a big 2-run single against Troy, and actually hit a sac fly in the championship game to give us the lead, late in the game against Louisiana. So, Jarrett works hard, and again, he's been a big part of our success and a big part of our defense in the infield.
Coach, wanted to ask you about one more aspect before we let you go ahead of the regional this weekend. And obviously, you've been around baseball long enough to know great pitching can take you a long way. How do you feel about your pitching? Look at some of the stats. I think you got 3 or 4 guys sub-3 in the ERA category. Ty Fisher, 2.87 as a starter for you. Very impressive. How do you feel about your pitching and your pitching depth as you get ready for the big weekend?
Well, I feel good going in. Ty's done a great job for us all year. We lost him for about 2 weeks. He actually took a line drive off the face against Central Florida, the Friday night game against UCF, and fractured some bones in his face. And this will tell you about Ty. The next morning, the next day he's in the dugout in full uniform. 2 weeks later, he's taking the mound in our first conference series against App State. And I can't tell you what kind of impression that made on his teammates. That toughness that he brings to our team. And, he's done a really good job in that Friday night slot, going deep for us in ball games. And, he's one of those guys, whether he's got his best stuff or not, has a knack for putting you in position and giving your team a chance to win. So he'll get the ball in the first game against Greensboro.
And then Jay Thompson has been our go-to guy to the bullpen. He has the ability to bounce back and throw, on consecutive days. And, he's kind of been our anchor and our leader in the bullpen. And, a senior in Hayden Harris is a guy that stepped up here down the stretch for us, and gave us a big outing on Saturday over in Montgomery against Troy. So I feel good, about our pitching staff. And again, I think our bullpen has been pretty steady and been a strength for us this year. So, we feel good heading in.
Rodney Hinnon, Georgia Southern head baseball coach, joining us here on 3 and Out. And the regional begins on Friday. Georgia Southern hosting Notre Dame, Texas Tech, and UNC Greensboro there in Statesboro. Coach, really appreciate the time. Best of luck. Thanks so much.
Okay, guys. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Appreciate it. Rodney Hinnon joining us here, head baseball coach there at Georgia Southern. Big weekend upcoming for those Eagles and played a lot of great baseball this year. As you mentioned, they started out at Tennessee, one of the best teams in the country, 0-3. And he said nobody would have figured. And since that point, 40-15, playing some great baseball there in Statesboro. We'll come back with more. It's 3 and Out on the Southern Pigskin Radio Network. It is great to be here on this Tuesday. A lot to get to still on the program. If you missed our conversation with Jared Pinko earlier, we'll have that for you in just a little bit. As again, big weekend in Georgia Southern. He has done a spectacular job during his time there in Statesboro, dealing with a number of things. But Ben, before we get to that, SEC meetings in Destin, as we talked about with Franz Beard, could have a potential what does the future schedule look like for SEC fans coming out of there this week when Texas and Oklahoma join. Kirby Smart was asked about, a bunch of different stuff, including transfer portal. And this is an interesting idea. I want to get your thought. He actually said, hey, I'm for 2 transfer windows. It can't just be, hey, it's March the 3rd. I decided I'm going in a transfer. He wants a window. I mean, we do this for other sports, right? Into basketball season. Hey, you have until this date to say you're going to the NBA draft. Now, you could say you're going and pull your name back out, but you have until this date to say you're going to the NBA draft. I think there's a deadline for which you have to declare for the NFL draft as well. And for Major League Baseball, you also have a look, are you going in the Major League Baseball draft? If you are not, you have to stay at said organization 3 years or be in school 3 years before you can go back in. So there are some safeguards against guys who can leave, but just jumping all over the place around college football. Kirby said this, and again, it's just Kirby's idea. I want to make sure I say that. It's not something I think the SEC has said, but he said, look, I want 2 windows. The first window, you have a February 1st deadline, which is right before National Signing Day, so kind of strategic. If you are wanting to transfer inside the SEC, you have to say that. So February 1st, hey, I'm transferring, I'm out. I don't know if you have to declare where you want it. To me, that's a little weird. I just say, hey, before National Signing Day, let us know if you're out, right? So we can try to recruit or whatever. And then he said a May 1st deadline, May 1st, if you are transferring outside the league. I don't know if I need the distinction, Ben, of inside, outside the league, but I do like, hey, 2 windows, there's a breaking point, and if you don't make your decision by these dates, well, you're staying. Right? I mean, you're having an option, but I think coaches want to know, what is my roster? Not that you can't go, but if 2 guys leave this week and then 3 guys leave next week, and then we get a transfer in and 2 more guys leave the next week. And we've seen that across college athletics where it's been every couple of weeks, guys leave in the middle of spring practice. I'm transferring. JT Daniels before spring practice. Oh, I'm going to be here. I'm going to finish graduating, but I'm out. What do you think about Kirby's kind of proposal there?
I mean, he make a good point. I think it's a good start. I really, really think it is. I think sometimes too, people have to start realizing that these young men have to make grown-up decisions. And, they are the product that is being sold to every major, ESPN and what have you. Sometimes, Kevin, you have to realize too, look, I've seen coaches decide to go to teams, don't go to the team, like Mel Tucker. And it's not to pick on Mel Tucker. What if I went to Colorado and Mel Tucker had a cup of coffee, and he went straight to Michigan State? What does that do to the players that he recruited? Now, I know that's a rare case, but it can't all just be on the players. Now, I do agree. You want to set parameters for these players so you go, look, man, I know I have selfish intentions, but I can have selfish intentions and have your best interest at heart, because I'm trying to make sure that you got somewhere to land. Because just because you're going to the transfer portal doesn't mean you're going to come out. And I like how he said, I'm going to let you. The reason why he said February 1st, but we already had an early signing, so you kind of can see what we're doing. You can be like, how many quarterbacks they got?
Right, yeah.
Then he's letting you go through the spring to kind of see how you are being used. So you got more than one window is what Kirby's saying, which I get that part. The thing that people got to understand when you're talking about these players is it's still very, very confusing. Because, Kevin, if I am player X, everybody wants to go, quote, big-time football. I get that part. But you competing against a different level of scrutiny, a different level of, a different level of pressure and different things. So Kirby is saying, look, man, my livelihood is from 17 to 22-year-olds. That is my livelihood. Problem is, I don't want a 17-year-old. I want the best 17-year-old that plays college football, unless he went to Alabama, Ohio State, right? Cool. And I think what happens is too, it's what it says. It's like, look,
but would you? But
I do agree. I do like the fact that he's starting a conversation.
Sure.
But I will say this too, like, when it comes to these players, these players are saying to themselves, look, man, I'm at University of Georgia and I want to play, right? Can he also add this? If I do leave and where I go doesn't work out, do I get a chance to come back? But only one time, though. Meaning, it's like
I don't know. I think once you leave, I don't know how. I mean, in certain occasions, I don't know how many coaches will be like, "Yeah, come on."
Listen, no. I didn't say you welcome me back with open arms. Now, I didn't say that. The kid that left, that went to Florida State and realized, well, the grass is green on this side, but this ain't even real grass. This is turf. So all I'm saying is, what Kirby is trying to do is he's trying to say, look, man, college football works out best when we have rules. Like it just works out better. Because what he's really saying is, have y'all seen the transfer portal? Like it's crazy right now with all these kids that's in there. Because you people forget, you were a 5-star when we recruited you, and now you're back in the portal with no team to go to. Georgia, the Floridas, the Alabamas, these big-time schools, they got to recruit. And we wanted you, and you left. But I do like the fact that, Kevin, you are giving windows. Like, let's face it.
But see, I don't think you need the distinction of if you're going inside the conference.
Exactly.
I just say, look, February 1, if you want to be in the transfer portal, we got to know by February 1. If you want to be after spring, we got to know by May 1. If you come to me on May 2 and say, I want to go in the transfer portal, that ain't going to work.
Nope.
I don't have any problem with that. I don't think you need the distinction of, well, I want to transfer outside the SEC. I'm going to have to wait until May 2nd. Like, no, just go ahead.
You go. I mean, Sam Pittman got hired within the conference. Like,
but I'm saying, if I'm just looking at it from this standpoint, if you know I'm not staying, I want to go to a different situation. To me, it shouldn't matter if I want to go to an SEC school, an ACC school, Big 10, Big 12. If on February 1st I know I'm out, I'm out. Why are you making me wait until May? Right? Or, as you said, then you go through spring, things don't work out, circumstances change.
Yeah.
I could go. Yeah. I don't care. What if I want to go to an SEC school? Why do I have? Why do I?
Look, and the thing is too, right? Look, if I'm let's just get away from the ones that got everything for a second. If I'm Vanderbilt, if I'm Southern Miss.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter, yeah.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, Kevin, I need to know who the hell's leaving. Meaning, it should be like a natural, hey, so-and-so, boom, we put them all in one fall school. These, doing like you do anything else. Georgia has, boom, these set players highlighted are transferring. Because if I'm schools that would love a player like that, hey, hello? Because why not highlight like it? I think the problem is we don't put enough. I like what Kirby's doing, but let's highlight these players. Listen, if you went through all this trouble to get them on campus, it just didn't work out. Just like any, quote, opportunity, it don't always work out the way you want. So these players are transferring. Hey, Georgia got 10 players going, these are their names. Have a show. You know, good God, ESPN would jump all over that. Because what it does, Kevin, is that means, okay, they get to go to team X or Y. Boom, that way, because if I go February 1 and I don't have nowhere by May, then because I think sometimes, right, people be forgetting your best opportunity, unless you are a quarterback or Jordan Addison, the number one, the best receiver coming back, your options aren't the same. I went to Georgia. Yeah, you went there. Like, you don't go there anymore. You attractive. You just ain't attractive like you were. When you got in that red and black and I got 20 offers. I'm gonna narrow it down to my top 10 and my top 5. I think the perception of who you are has dwindled a little bit, right? You weren't able to take advantage of that other 50% we talked about. 50% is Georgia. When you get there, you got a chance. Now, you ain't gonna get all 50. You might get 25% of that other 50. You didn't utilize it. If I'm saying pre-February 1st, and think about this. Just say I'm the second part. I done went through spring, it didn't work out. Do it again. Boom. These schools, because I think what it does is it shows these other teams, hey man, this who's out to let your phone ring. Hopefully you land somewhere, because the biggest misconception about college football is you got to go to school X to get the exposure. That's not true.
Yeah.
Now, it ain't the same level. I'm not saying it's the same level, but
Kevin, the Falcons took a guy from Montana State round 2. I mean, there you go.
Absolutely. So I do think Kirby is on to something, but I will say this: when it comes to these players, you got to have a plan once you get to college too. Don't just be like, hey man, I'm jumping in the portal. That might be your last destination.
And we'll see. I think scheduling, maybe some kind of transfer portal situation might be what we hear coming out of Destin this week. We've got more to come. If you missed it earlier, we heard from Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director. We'll have that for you next here on 3 and Out. Good to have you along 3 and Out on this Tuesday. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, glad you're making us a part of your day. The NCAA baseball tournament is upon us. They handed out the regional assignments over the weekend, and one of those lands in Statesboro. Georgia Southern going to be welcoming in Notre Dame, Texas Tech, UNC Greensboro coming up this weekend. And joining us here to tell us how that happened, the athletic director at Georgia Southern, Jared Binko, joins us here on 3 and Out. Jared, welcome. How are you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're doing fantastic. Obviously the work on the field happens with the student athletes, but I know you guys put out that you were trying to land one of these things. What all goes into securing the rights to host a regional, and obviously you guys able to get that done for the first time in school history?
Yeah, no, listen, we're fired up. I mean, listen, you're not in a position to host unless your team goes out there and puts you in position, competitively to host. And so, just really proud of, first and foremost, our coaches and staff and student athletes that did an incredible job. Anytime you get to 40 wins in a season, and I think that speaks volume. So that's the first thing. You obviously have to be in position competitively to host. And then secondly, you put in a bid, and the way the NCAA bid process works, you guarantee revenue, and you have to set your expenses. And a lot of thought and planning went into it, and now it's just a matter of execution. So it's interesting with a turn. You find out we're hosting Sunday, find out the matchups Monday, and then teams arrive tomorrow, which is kind of crazy on a short turn, and then practice Thursday, play Friday. So it's a bang deal, but really excited. It's a great opportunity for Statesboro and Southeast Georgia.
And Jared, even sticking with that, you think about a city like Statesboro. When you think about baseball in the state of Georgia, obviously you got Athens, obviously you got Atlanta, you got but then when you think about Statesboro, the Sun Belt, everything as you said that goes into it. What is that call like, Jared? Because like you said, everybody I think is putting in bids. Not everybody's getting the call. What is it like making preparations for it, getting the bid for it, and what does it mean for the city of Statesboro?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's interesting. They announced the host. I was actually out in Arizona with men's golf for NCAA championships, and they were going to announce at 8:30 Sunday night Eastern. That is, and you can get a phone call, text, or email, and it's about 5 minutes till 8:30. I'm like, well, I guess we didn't get one. I would assume we'd gotten tipped off. Then I saw the social media thread, and it was boom, 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 and saw Statesboro, tweet that went out from NCAA. I did a double take, like, man, this is. It kind of was in shock, one of those moments. But then you quickly pivot and you start, thinking already in your head about execution of your plan you submitted. But then listen, here's what I always tell people. We always talk about athletics being the front porch of the university. And this is another opportunity for us as an institution to really put our best foot forward. We're proud of Statesboro. We love our campus, love obviously the degree that you can have here in the experience as a student and as a student athlete here. And now this gives us one more opportunity to show the rest of the country just what a special place it is. And so it's huge. Ben, it's a place obviously not everybody's been to. And we take great pride in giving people a great experience, and hopefully not too much of a great experience on the field because we want to win this regional and move on. But, listen, Southern hospitality will be on display this week. So.
And Jared, how good, as you said, your student athletes went out there, won 40 games. How good is this baseball team, and how confident do you think you guys are going to be getting to play there at J.I. Clements to try to move on?
Well, I mean, listen, it's going to be a home field advantage. I think what makes this team special, and Coach Hinnon, I know he's going to be on later today. It's interesting this season, and I've been around some really good teams in the past, some years past, and I was talking to Austin Thompson and Christian Avan as well about, early on you could see the senior leadership continue to really just take teams through, come from behind wins, and you saw this never quit type mentality, and we have 20 plus come from behind wins, and it's a senior driven team, and Ben knows, we talked before about senior leadership. I mean, the senior leadership on this team is as good as I've seen, and so it's a byproduct of just some tremendous, not only baseball players, just tremendous young men, and so I feel really good. I mean, that's why you have to go out and play the game, but our guys are fired up, and I think, after Sunday's performance and just come up just short of the Sun Belt Championship, shortly thereafter to find out we're hosting, it was definitely an adrenaline shot, and again, they're just as fired up as we are to host. So.
And Jared, even talk about the Sun Belt a little bit more. I mean, when I'm looking at this list, I mean, I'm seeing Auburn, I'm seeing Eastern Carolina, I'm seeing Florida, I'm seeing Louisville, Maryland, Miami, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Southern Miss, Stanford, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Southern. Hosting a regional, it's one of those things to where obviously you want to move on to the tournament, but it's prestigious. I hear baseball coaches in our college always talk about, man, the best path to win any tournament or anything is being at home. Just talk about what the Sun Belt is doing, not just on the national scale, but you see in baseball, you guys are seem to be making sure that people know, look, man, the Sun Belt playing us is one thing, but we making sure that we are putting on not for just our conference, but for college baseball as a whole.
Yeah, and if you look at it, we had our spring meetings in Destin. Gosh, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago, and we had 4 new teams down there. If you look at it, I mean, Southern Miss is hosting too. They're going to be a member of the Sun Belt, effective July 1, and so yeah. But here's the thing, Ben and I had this conversation with Commissioner Gill. We were down there saying, the power. There's no doubt in my mind the power of not only the brand but just the conference is significantly increasing. So you start looking at every sport and what's coming in. I mean, we're getting better in every sport. And so a lot of people look at football, look at basketball, baseball, and softball. And so I think what you'll see across the board is the Sun Belt further establishing itself as a preeminent group of 5 school in the country. And I think what you'll also see is the results and the proofs in the pudding, because when you look across this postseason, and then, of course, our goal is to get a New Year's Day 6 in this conference as well. I mean, the next couple of years, in my opinion, will be a further strengthening and really a separation moment for us as a conference, because we got better. And there's a lot of chaos going around this past year with people leaving Conference USA and others and American and stuff. We were getting stronger. And I think that's just a sign of a great leadership with Commissioner Gill and down to the president.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director, joining us here on 3 and Out. And how busy is it right now to be Jared Binko? As you said, you're out there with golf. You got baseball hosting a regional. Obviously Clay Helton's got folks fired up about the fall. I know you got some building projects going on there on campus for some new facilities. I mean, obviously you've got your fingers in a lot of places over here the last few months.
Yeah, well, listen, it's a good problem to have. Anytime your teams this time of year are competing, it's a good problem to have. But no, I think what you also will see too is just the upper trajectory of the university, and really mimics that of the athletic department, and vice versa, because we've got $80 million in capital projects going on right now, and you look at the success. It's the best spring we've ever had on record. You mentioned Coach Helton and what he's doing in football, and you even saw a little bit in the spring. I even thought maybe Ben might like to be a tight end in this system because he'd catch a lot of balls. But no, I mean, I think what you're seeing is the momentum carry over, and really it's going to carry over into the fall. And so we've made no bones about trying to be like a Power 5 program and how we run, and being very elite in every sport that we field. And so that's kind of been the process. And obviously, each year you try to get better. But it's been so rewarding. I'll tell you that the best thing about it time of year is seeing the student athletes who put in day out the hard work and out of the classroom and on the fields and the courts respectively, to see them celebrate and to see all their hard work. I mean, that's why you do it. That's your why. Like, why are we in college athletics? Is to see these young people and hopefully play a small role in them having those moments to always remember the rest of your life. And we're in the moment creating business, and it's just this time of year. It's really special. It's hard to explain, but it's really special to see goals and dreams and aspirations be accomplished. So.
And Jerry, you talk a lot about the future and everything going on as far as different buildings and different things going up. You talk about the plans you guys have, but the players are actually a part of that plan. And it's one thing that have them a part of that plan, the student athletes, but they're actually building that momentum in the right direction. Kevin mentioned Coach Helton. You talk about what you guys hosting the region. You talk about how well you guys are doing across all sports, both male and female. Just talk about how the players, while they understand that, look, they control what they control when they out there on the baseball down the basketball court, but they seem to be understanding that, look, we are doing it for something bigger than us, and to get. It's always about looking back at your time at whatever school you was at and say, look, this is what we did when we was here, and kind of setting the stage for future Georgia Southern Eagles.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, it comes back to a couple things. Like, one, we've been upfront with about the standards have increased here. We're not lowering standards. And listen, you're only as good as the people around you. I've been blessed with a great staff, and our coaches are awesome. But I think our student athletes will also share with you too that they want to succeed at a high level. And then as a former student athlete, if you want to be, whether it be a championship winning team or all conference, all American, whatever, well, then you're agreeing to be coached at an elite level. I'll tell you the piece to me that often gets overlooked is we tied the school record with a 3.08 year-long cumulative GPA. And you look at it a lot of places, that's significantly above the average student athlete population. And so to me, it's the little things that matter. And so, how you treat showing up in class and how you treat studying for an exam and obviously aiming high academically, it's going to translate into the field because you can't do one and not the other. I just think it's about a habit-based system. And we talk all the time about being a developmental program. And so everything matters. And I think to your point, Ben, our student athletes are seeing that, hey, whether it be the new nutrition program we have online, whether it be mental health, whatever, every student athlete, and we had a release last week about the Alston money, they have a chance to invest in that through a couple different levers we have in place. So what you're seeing is that every class that comes in is getting a better student athlete experience. And that's our goal every year. We're bettering it. And so our student athletes see it. They're the ones that are doing all the work. Our goal is to support them at a high level and offer them encouragement. And also just talk about the importance of discipline and accountability because that's going to translate in life. It's a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern AD, joining us here on 3 and Out. And Jared, before we let you go, a couple of things. What does the schedule look like for folks that are wanting to come check out the regional? Is it one ticket for one day? How does that kind of process work for folks that are interested?
Yeah, so right now we actually getting ready to come out. We've sold out of all our regular season tickets, or I should say regular chairback and bleacher tickets. And so we'll have more information come out shortly on some standing room only tickets. But we're about at capacity right now. But online, you can go to gseagles.com and you can order tickets just for the remaining SRO standing room only tickets. But it's going to be a packed house, and I would encourage, there's going to be tailgating here. We're going to have a lot of new, hopefully food vendor trucks and food trucks here. So it's a great opportunity. So even if you don't have a ticket now, I would encourage you. Obviously, the day of the game, there's usually tickets going around. People are trying to, sell them and whatnot. I would encourage people to get up here because it's going to be a really cool event this weekend. It's going to be something I think everybody in town can be really proud of.
Absolutely. And hey, before we let you go, you mentioned the food and the tailgate. Now we know you can, get out there on the Blackstone. We know you can grill the meats. What we've seen the football spread. What is the baseball spread? And are you going to have a little AD set up there cooking some food for the baseball folks?
Well, as much as I'd like to, I think it would come at a detriment of some other things. But no, I think, there's some similarities there. I think if you look at, tailgate, I think you can never go wrong with pulled pork, Boston butt. I think that's an easy, go-to for a lot of folks. And, I think you'll see obviously a lot of, bratwurst and hot dogs and sausage dogs and all types of stuff like that. So I would just tell you, if you like to eat like I do, you're not really picky. And so I think I haven't really passed up on a whole lot of stuff. The only thing I will pass up on is goat. I had that during the half state game, and that's about the only time I'll try that. But outside of that, I'll eat about anything else. So.
Well, I was going to let you go, but somebody was trying to grill up goat before the football game?
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was chicken.
just more of a gamey type taste. I mean, as a person that grew up when my grandfather used to make goat like once a year, yes, that is like liver. If you had it once, you've had it enough. It definitely works on them bowel movements a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not I can digress there, but it's probably something I probably won't have again. But yeah, you just gotta, sometimes what you learn is sometimes if you don't know what it is, you need to ask. That's probably the lesson learned.
Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director, joining us here on 3 and Out. Jared, really appreciate the time. I know, congratulations, all the best on getting that regional. It's going to be a great weekend there in Statesboro, and we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
to have you back here on 3 and Out. Kevin Thomas, Ben Troop, thanks for making us a part of your day. We will actually, Ben, not be here tomorrow because, well, the Braves are playing in the afternoon. They're trying to get away.
Braves getting a win. That's all.
Hopefully they'll have 2 wins by the time we talk to you again. But I got Arizona tonight, late 8:25. We'll have pregame coverage. First pitch at 9:40, and then first pitch tomorrow going to be at 3:40. So we had a little afternoon baseball for you tomorrow. Hopefully we are talking to you on Thursday about 2 dubs and more Michael Harris fantastic plays out there in the field.
Kevin, basically what Kevin is saying is what has been the thing they got to get through in the season, 3 wins in a row, and then maybe,
Well, it's not going to happen. Well, they lost last night, so that ain't going to happen. You're going to have to wait.
There might not be 3 wins from the same team in a row. We just need 3 wins in a row.
So
any way you can get them.
We'll start with 2 with Arizona, and then we'll go on and see if they can get. But yeah. Again, I feel like there's a good stretch of baseball somewhere coming, but they haven't been able to get there just yet. Appreciate Jared Binko, Georgia Southern AD, joining us here on the show. Also, Franz Beard, Gator Bait, join us, and Rodney Hinnon in the final hour of the program, Georgia Southern head baseball coach as the Eagles hosting an NCAA regional. We will see you Thursday here on 3 and Out.